This episode of Casual Friday is brought to you by Harry's. This whole conversation is so borderline racist that it's going to take a miracle of editing to make something we can use. So that what's it called? That Sunset Overdrive actual gameplay came out yesterday, right?
Did you notice it came out right after we talked about it on our Google Plus Hangout?
There you go.
As though it was
they're waiting.
ordained by the gods.
Well, we also talked about a Phantom Dust sequel on that Hangout, and I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
No.
Fingers crossed. I don't know.
We'll see.
It was pure luck that came out, but it looks really awesome.
It
yeah,
does.
the Sunset Overdrive looks great, and actually I remember seeing the E3 trailer and thinking it looked awesome and getting incredibly hyped for what I guess the game could be.
I had two reactions when that trailer came out. I was like, this looks awesome. I hope when it's an actual video game and not a CGI trailer,
cool.
I hope it resembles this.
Yeah,
in any way.
and so the gameplay now actually looks like it may be delivering on that.
And it's Insomniac, right?
Yeah, which also worried me a little bit because remember they had what was that? What was the Fuse previously called before that? It was like Overcharge or something like that. And then they totally turned it into like brown mush. And I was really, really afraid that was going to happen with this game, but it's not. I love the trailer for this, by the way.
Yeah.
It's the most like straightforward. It's almost like if I had made a preview of the trailer, that is what the trailer
Totally.
actually looks like.
What stood out to me about the trailer was that it wasn't in universe, it was them talking from the perspective of Insomniac about the game. They were like, we think this is the most Insomniac game we've ever made. In the past 20 years we've been building up to this, we really hope you like it. But I think what's most exciting to me about that game is the traversal stuff. I think the parkour-y elements of wall running and grinding on rails and all of that, they talk over and over in that trailer about how what's exciting them about that game is the movement, and that is one of my favorite things in games, so that excites me.
I love parkour in games. I feel like it's really blown up over the past few years.
Yeah, do you think that's a technical thing?
I think
like
that's
it's now
part
possible?
of it. I definitely think that's part of it.
Yeah, because you have to, if you're moving so quickly, you have to load the level faster, I guess, maybe.
There's always been an element of games that was about good feeling movement. Like the Unreal Tournament games with all like the bunny hopping and rocket jumping and like
Tribes.
Tribes is such a good example.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about a game with really smooth movement that it feels amazing.
Yeah.
When you can when you get good at that locomotion and you just like
there's like a flow you fall into.
After a few hours of it, when you're like doing it automatically, there is absolutely a flow. I mean, like the popularity of Assassin's Creed is primarily because that game is about climbing over and under obstacles and navigating the world.
And Mirror's Edge, I was the biggest fan of Mirror's Edge. It just feels so cool.
It makes you feel really good at a game, even if you suck at it. Although, even in Mirror's Edge, you get on a really long streak, and then you just hit a wall, and you feel like an idiot.
Feels terrible.
It's sort of like big highs and big lows, right? Like when you are on a perfect parkour, like in Titanfall, you're wall running or whatever, that feels great. But then in Mirror's Edge, when you lose your momentum, that's the worst feeling you can
and
pretty
it goes
much
back
get.
to like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic has the same problem.
And some of the games, I feel like a lot of the games that have parkour now haven't perfected it to where that kind of thing doesn't happen, because sometimes it feels like it's not really your fault. And maybe if you had been like a millimeter to the left, you would have been able to make that jump.
Assassin's Creed has that problem.
Yes, Assassin's Creed definitely does have that problem.
But it's an open world game, so it's like you have to be a little forgiving.
I remember when Mario 64 added wall jumps, like the wall kicks you could do in Mario 64, I remember having an incredibly tough time pulling off. Back in the day, there was a mission called Wall Kicks Will Work on that snow level that I just could not nail as a 11-year-old kid. But conversely, Super Mario 3D World feels amazing. Like doing the long jumps and holding down buttons to sprint, it just feels very organic, and the movement just feels amazing. Even that's a great microcosm of the way movement has evolved in games.
Yeah.
I think another weird example that's not as recent as stuff like Titanfall is, you guys remember Hulk Ultimate Destruction on the Xbox? That was a game
with the big jump?
Yes, huge charged up jumps, running up the sides of buildings in the most goofy way possible. I think that team went on to actually make Prototype. I think it was largely the same people, but that was the first game where I was like, oh my god, I'm moving exactly the way I want to with no barriers, holding down some buttons and just running up the side of a building. And that exemplifies that vibe for me.
I know Watch Dogs, I played it a couple weeks ago. It has a lot of parkour in it. I kind of felt the same way I did about Assassin's Creed, where it was it feels good, but also a little bit janky still.
Well, also, why is this hacker doing parkour or firing a gun to begin with?
You're supposed to be climbing up buildings and stuff. And
narratively.
narratively.
how is this hacker doing parkour?
Who the hell
I guess is
knows?
the
I mean,
question.
there's no rhyme or reason.
How is he jumping motorcycles over drawbridges? Like,
why
video
is
games,
anything in
in
video
video
games?
games?
Nothing
Yeah.
makes sense
yeah,
about them.
touche.
But I think, you know, what's interesting is like, you don't have to be going fast for transversal to feel really good. Like I think of Tomb Raider, like the new Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because they have a lot of climbing and jumping and like clinging to things like Assassin's Creed does.
Yeah.
But Assassin's Creed is like definitely has this like weird gray area where it's like it's almost like a flip of the coin whether you're going to grab onto something or not, and you
or whether you're going to jump sideways off the building.
Yeah,
or not.
exactly. But Tomb Raider is like it's so rock solid every time. If I do make a mistake, it is my fault, not
Really?
the game at all.
I don't agree with that. Actually.
Well, you didn't love
Felt
Tomb
very
Raider, right?
arcadey.
I
to
liked
me.
Tomb Raider. I had some problems with it,
Yeah.
but I do remember in my review one of the negative points that I had was that some of the platforming felt a little strange. Like you would be too far to the right to be able to jump, even though it looks like you should be able to.
Maybe it's rose-tinted glasses. It's
Yeah.
been like over a year since I played it. But my favorite interaction with Tomb Raider that I remember is, and it's such a little thing, but when you were wall climbing, you would press X to pull out your pickaxe and stick it in the wall, and then you would jump again, and then press X to stick it in again.
Yeah, and it's something
that felt so physical.
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
why, but like that for some reason sticks out of my mind. Yeah, and this maybe
Like
it's the sound design too.
I think
but
it was good sound design, but there was something that really felt. It's something about the timing of the swing upon hitting X.
Yeah.
You know, again, this goes into more like that animation, and if it moves too quickly, it doesn't look real. But if it's too slow, then you're gonna be angry all the time,
Right.
because then you have to anticipate
It
everything.
it felt physical, and say what you will about Tomb Raider, I think that game was very polished and detail oriented, even if it didn't do a single thing novel. I think
Yeah.
that it was well shinied up.
Yeah, it was a well executed game. I'm really excited for Dying Light, which is
Oh,
actually
yeah.
kind of appropriate since we're talking about that, since it just got announced that it was delayed until
Oh, wait, really?
February 2015.
That's
2015.
Yeah, and the reason they said that it was delayed is because they wanted more time to work on the traversal mechanisms in it, and
Yeah.
and that they were coming closer and closer to their original vision for the game. And I played it last year at PAX, I think, and the traversal stuff was really good. The rest of the game was like kind of but it was like still so early on. It's really hard to tell what the full
That's
game's gonna be
the
like.
zombie Mirror's Edge game, right?
Yeah, basically from the people who made Dead Island.
Yeah. God, how great would it be if they just called it Zombie Mirror's Edge?
Yeah, it's just Dead Island with like parkour.
Right.
I need to be sold really hard on that game
Yeah.
in order to play it.
Well,
It's, you know what?
don't
It's
know.
terrifying. Actually, the traversal stuff works really well with that kind of game because you get, being so fast gives like a crazy feeling of intensity to everything.
Yeah.
But there's also like a million zombies around you. So you can, like, if you stop for even like a second,
Yeah.
somebody can like grab you and shake you.
It's good to hear, though, that you're saying that it already feels good and that they're taking time to polish it and make it feel better, because it doesn't take much of a screw up in a locomotion-based game for it to feel
Yeah.
shitty.
No, not
Just
at
the
all.
slightest
It
misstep.
requires the most polish, probably.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think the final one that I think of when I think about games where the movement feels good is there's this little indie game called Perfect Stride by Arcane Kids. I think you can get it as part of a Kickstarter gift for LA Game Space, and it's going to come to Steam eventually, but it's this really beautiful, psychedelic, first-person skateboarding thing where, like, if you ride in a loop-de-loop,
I
think
watched
I
you
showed
play
you.
it.
But just
At GDC.
yeah, wall riding that feels incredible.
Yeah.
The ability to rewind at any time if you screw up a jump, which sort of alleviates some of those problems we were talking about. The best soundtrack ever, and just really pretty to look at. I like that we're seeing it from all sides. Like AAA games have obviously adopted the hold down A and R and push forward on the stick to jump over everything. But then like cool indie studios are making their own games that are about good feeling movement.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something that becomes a lot more common in
Yeah.
video games because it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's-
fun to run fast and jump
It's
high.
something you
You
can't
feel
do in real
cool.
life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is the most video game thing you can do
Yes.
aside from like shooting people.
Totally, and it's funny because we were talking earlier. Sunset Overdrive looks like such a video game. We were watching
Yeah.
that trailer, just like this is such a video game.
Yeah, but I didn't get that icky feeling that I sometimes get, especially during trailers like that are like, this is what separates our game from everyone else. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
It was pretty sincere.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think another reason that it didn't gross me out was it has colors in it, and I like it when video games have colors in them.
Yeah.
Controversial opinion, games should be colorful sometimes. Blue skies.
I don't like the weird swoosh that follows your character in the gameplay I saw.
Fun fact though, when you're customizing your character, you can customize the color of that swoosh.
Oh,
so
great.
Really?
you can customize yours to be
sold, guys.
Some boring idiot color.
I'm pre-ordering right now.
All right.
I want a rainbow swoosh.
Can
you do that?
That's a pre-order bonus, so you should probably
I think that's a pony in My Little Pony.
Rainbow
Stop,
swoosh.
just
oh golly.
no.
My Little Pony humor. Thanks.
Please leave.
All right.
So you may have noticed that my crappy beard from a couple seconds ago is gone, and if you want to get rid of your gross neck beard, check out Harry's. Harry's is focused on providing guys a great shaving experience for a fraction of the price of their competitors. The company is focused on providing a great shaving experience for a fraction of the price and shipping high-quality, German-made razors directly to your front door. For $15, you get a set that includes a handle, 3 blades, and shaving cream shipped directly to your front door. They even offer a custom engraving option to engrave your initials on the razor. Go to harrys.com and use the promo code CASUAL to save $5 off your first purchase.